Hey everybody. So we need to talk about the Florida Panthers, who are actually first place in the Central Division right now and tied with the Colorado Avalanche for the most points in the league at 56. Having a monster season down in Florida and really one of the biggest surprises in the NHL this year after being a real borderline team last season that probably wasn't going to make the playoffs if it wasn't expanded to 24 teams. So a huge year so far for Florida and lots to talk about with this team. Before we get into it, I just ask you please subscribe if you are new and hit that thumbs up button if you haven't yet. It really helps the channel a lot and is greatly appreciated. But let's get into things here. Looking at the Florida Panthers season so far, they are 26-9-4 on the year for 56 points through their first 39 games. And as you can see, they are first in the Central Division. Their 56 points is actually tied for the most in the NHL. Colorado also has 56, and the Avalanche are technically first in the league now because they've played one less game. Florida has a plus 27 goal differential on the season, which is very good. And they are one of the best offensive teams in the league. The Florida Panthers are scoring 3.31 goals for per game, which is tied for fourth in the NHL. They're also top 10 defensively as well, giving up just 2.59 goals against per game, which is 10th in the league. And that is one of the biggest differences between the Florida Panthers of this season and the Florida Panthers of last year. Florida was a great offensive team that scored a ton of goals last year as well, but their defense was horrible. They gave up a ton of goals last season, and they really couldn't keep the puck out of their net, which is really why they struggled as much as they did during the regular season. This year, though, they've gotten significantly better defensively, giving up just 2.59 goals against per game. Last year, it was well over 3. They're a top 10 defensive team in the league this season, and that has allowed Florida to win a lot more games than they did, were on pace for last year. And that's been, I think, single-handedly the biggest difference for the Panthers is the fact that they've been able to maintain their scoring while getting significantly better defensively. Their power play is 11th in the NHL at 23% on the season, and their penalty kill is 11th in the NHL as well at 81.2% on the season. So, not spectacular on special teams, but very solid. 11th in the league, top half of the league in both power play and penalty kill. The special teams aren't really going out and winning them games, but they're certainly not hurting them either. And they're over 20% on the power play. They're over 80% on the penalty kill. Their special teams are very solid this season, 11th in both categories. So Florida overall is playing really well this season. They've looked really good, and they're winning a lot of games. 26 wins in their first 39 games is very good for the Panthers. And this looks like a very much improved team than what we saw from the Florida Panthers last year. And when we start looking at individual players a little bit, Jonathan Huberdeau has had a massive year with 42 points in 39 games. Alexander Barkov has 40 points on the season despite missing time and only playing 33 games this year. Carter Verhaeghe has been an absolute breakout star for this team this year with 17 goals and 33 points in 39 games. Patrick Hornquist has been huge for them coming over from Pittsburgh. He has 27 points. Mackenzie Weegar is having a huge year on the back end with 23 points in 39 games and a plus 20. He's been probably their best defenseman this season. They've dealt with some injuries as well. Aaron Ekblad, done for the year. That was a huge blow. Ekblad is their number one D-man. He is their, superstar guy on the back end. And Ekblad, they lost to a leg fracture of not too long ago, probably a little over a week ago now. It hasn't stopped the Panthers at all. They're still on a 6-game winning streak, still in first place, still up there competing with Tampa Bay and Carolina, and actually ahead of Tampa Bay and Carolina in the Central Division, and still one of the best teams in the NHL this season. Like I said, Alexander Barkov also missed time. He missed 6 games earlier this season. They really didn't miss a beat, even without their top center, and they still were able to win games and stay in the win column and play really well. And now Barkov is back and producing at a very, very high level. If you look at their goaltending this year, Sergei Bobrovsky still, his numbers are certainly much better this year than they were last season, but he's not putting up the Vezina Trophy level numbers that got him his $10 million per year contract. He still has a .910 save percentage and a 2.79 goals against average this year. However, he's won 15 games, and he's 15-5-2 on the season. So Bobrovsky is playing good, not great, but he's been good, and he's winning games. And then Chris Driedger, the backup, has actually been awesome this year, winning 11 games in 17 starts, going 11-4-2 with a ridiculous .931 save percentage and a 2.05 goals against average. So Driedger's actually been the better goalie statistically this year than Sergei Bobrovsky. But overall, this team is just rolling right now. They're playing really, really good hockey. They're winning a lot of games. They're scoring goals. They're keeping the puck out of their net. Their special teams are solid. And this is just a really good all-around hockey team. It really stinks that they've lost Aaron Ekblad for the rest of the season because he is a crucial part to that defense core. But man, even without him the last few games, they're still just rolling along and playing really well. And it seems like they're going to be able to pick up that slack with some of the guys that they have there. And they're still, like I said, Mackenzie Weegar is having a huge season on the D-core there. Radko Gudas has been really, really helpful from a defensive side of things. He doesn't really put up much for points, but as far as like a defensive defenseman who brings a physical presence, Gudas has been a really nice addition to that D-core as well. And Florida's just rolling right now. So this is a team that I think deserves a lot of credit, deserves a lot of attention, and they are one of the best teams in the NHL this year. They are certainly not going to be an easy outcome playoff time, and it's going to be really fun to see how deep this team can go and what they can accomplish in the playoffs because they are really, really good. So, just wanted to bring some light to Florida and talk about them a little bit because they were not a team that were on many people's radar entering the season. Well, now they're one of the best teams in the NHL this year, and it wasn't just a hot start. They've kept it going all season long, and they are now tied with 56 points for the most in the NHL so far this year through 39 games. So, huge shout out to the Florida Panthers, and they are going to be a fun team to watch the rest of the way to see where they finish in the Central, and going to be a really fun team to watch in the playoffs and see what happens and how deep they can go. So, with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are in the description. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our Patreon merchandise store, donation link, and channel memberships are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.